Vloggers and content creators rejoice. If you're in need of a compact mirrorless video forward camera, then Nikon has the solution for you with their recently announced Nikon Z30. So what is this little camera package all about? Stick around and find out. In today's video, we'll be looking at the Nikon Z30's main specs and features. We'll then be checking out some sample footage and stills before wrapping it up by comparing this camera to the rest of Nikon's APS-C mirrorless range and seeing where it sits. The Z30 is Nikon's latest entry into their mirrorless line of APS-C cameras. The body itself only weighs around 400 grams, so you can just throw this into your bag without worrying about adding too much bulk. The camera is capable of capturing video at 4K up to 30 frames a second or 1080p up to 120 frames a second. And you can take 21 megapixel stills with this camera. Nikon has designed this camera to make the process of capturing footage to uploading it as streamlined as possible. While other cameras in this subcategory of compact mirrorless vlog forward cameras may offer things like log profiles to increase your color grading proficiency, this camera offers a simpler flat color profile to make color grading nice and simple. And if you don't want to color grade at all, there's built-in creative picture profiles so you can bake a look into your footage and just eliminate the need for grading altogether. Talking about the physical body of this camera, as I said before, Nikon has made this camera as simple as possible to make capture as simple as possible. So there's a limited amount of buttons, but everything that you need is nice and neatly laid out. Some things that I really like about the camera are the front and rear control dials are nice and clicky, a nice big record button up top, a big and clear mode dial up top, and a stills and video mode switch on the back. There's also a tilty flippy touchscreen on the camera, so you can rotate the camera into vlogging mode, and the touchscreen allows you to access all of your essential settings so you can change your settings and exposure on the fly. If you didn't want to change the settings, then the auto metering on this camera is pretty good and will keep up with changing lighting environments. The Z30 is powered by the ENEL25 batteries that you'll find in other mirrorless APS-C Nikon cameras, and it's rated for up to 330 images on one charge. That's pretty good, but I would still keep a couple spare batteries with you if you're out on a long day of shooting or content creation. In terms of the side I/O, we have some pretty simple I/O with a USB-C and a micro HDMI port on the side. I have mixed feelings about micro HDMI ports, but it makes sense on this camera to keep the weight down. We also have a 3.5mm mic jack up the top in case you want to plug in an external microphone instead of using the inbuilt stereo microphones, which you will hear some samples from later in this video. Something that's a little bit quirky about this camera is the fact that there's no 3.5mm headphone jack to monitor your audio levels. Instead, you have to rely on the visual audio level monitor on the screen of the camera. What's a little bit strange is when you flip the camera into vlogging/selfie mode, the audio meter display goes away. I understand that this is to simplify the interface of the camera so there's not that many distractions when you're vlogging with the camera like this, but it would be nice to see my audio levels in real time while I'm vlogging with the camera. I'm sure that this can be fixed in a future firmware update pretty easily. So that's enough talking about the camera. Let's get into some footage tests. What you're seeing now is footage straight out of the Z30. I'm actually going to spin around so I'm not squinting into the sun. The front tally light on this camera is really, really nice because I can see at a glance that I am recording and I don't have to peek the screen as much. As I said before, not having audio levels in selfie mode is a little bit annoying, but I'm sure that this can be fixed in a future update. Right now, you're hearing audio out of my lapel, but we're going to quickly switch to the camera's internal mic so you can hear what this sounds like. So right now what you're hearing is internal microphone audio. As I said before, there are stereo microphones built into this camera, which is quite nice. And if you wanted to use another microphone, such as a Rode Video Mic Pro, and attach it to the top of this camera, or even a Rode Wygo, you can easily attach it to this camera using the hot shoe and the inbuilt 3.5mm mic jack. It's also worth quickly mentioning that this camera does have eye autofocus and face detect, and in our tests, it's pretty good. It tracks me really well, as you can see in the sample footage here, but I thought that I'd mention that before I forgot. Right now, we're gonna go find a nice landscape shot that we can set this camera up in, and we're gonna shoot 4K and go through all the different color profiles so you can see what they all look like. We'll also shoot one bit of footage in the flat profile so you can see what that looks like and what you can grade out of the flat profile. All right, let's do it. So what is really nice about the creative profiles with this camera is, although it is baking a look into the footage, it does save an extra step in post-production. So if I had a really quick, I wanted to get a vlog out this afternoon, at least I don't have to color grade any of my footage. Now, we're going to do some burst photo and autofocus tests, as well as some slow-mo tests. This camera does have the exact same 209 autofocus, contrast, and phase detect points as the Z50 at a pretty respectable 11 FPS burst with full autofocus capability. So we're gonna throw some leaves, look all lovely, and we're gonna do one take using the burst photos, and we're gonna do another take using the slow-mo video. All right, let's get these leaves. 3, 2, 1. And rolling up, run in. I think that it's now worth talking about where the Z30 fits in with the other APS-C mirrorless Nikon cameras. So if we were to take something like, the ZF-C, which you can find in the wild in any ivy bush, and something, there's another one, and the Z50, then I think that it's worth comparing them like this. If you were someone who takes mainly stills and you're in need of an APS-C mirrorless camera from Nikon, and you want to take some video every now and then, but you don't really need to film yourself that much, then I would look at the Z50. This is a great camera to travel with if you're only taking stills, still remaining nice and compact, and if you wanted to take video now and then you are able to do so. The only thing is, if you're a vlogger, then the fact that the screen flips around like this instead of to the side may make it a little bit awkward to film yourself. If you're someone who takes an equal measure of photo and video, then I would start looking at the ZF-C. This is a great little vintage style inspired camera from Nikon where you can take great stills with it and you can still take video. If you needed to film yourself, the screen also flips all the way around like this to make it nice and ergonomic. But if you're more video forward with your content creation and only occasionally have the need for stills, then I think that the Z30 is for you. The Z30, as I've mentioned before, is made to be simple, so you can go from capture of footage to uploading footage in as little time as possible. With the removal of the electronic viewfinder to keep the profile nice and small, the tilty flippy screen so you can see yourself while filming, this is really a content creator and vlogger style camera. So what do you guys think about the Nikon Z30? Let us know in the comments down below. If you need any more information about this camera or other products mentioned in this video, then you can find them all linked in the description, or you can come into our Sydney store and talk to some of our friendly staff. As always, if you found this video entertaining or informative, let us know by hitting that like and considering subscribing. Follow us on Instagram for latest and tech news, gear updates and giveaways. Thanks heaps for watching, and happy shooting.